Yep, it's day 23, 23rd of January. How is your decluttering challenge going? Mine's going actually really well. There was a point where I thought I'm just not going to be able to keep finding this many things. And then I started to go deeper and found it easier to get rid of things that I'd perhaps been really hanging on to because they had such emotional connections. And once you let those things go, it you can then get rid of things that you don't actually need or ever use. So my example of that was this was a couple of days ago. I decided to declutter this handbag, which was so loved. I think I probably bought it 12 years ago. When I first moved back to England from living in France, and it's Osprey, so it was a nice brand. And I bought the matching purse, and I used to place it down on like a shop counter, and people would say, "Oh, that's a nice bag," and then I get the matching purse out, which I don't have anymore, and they go, "Oh, and the purse, oh, that's so lovely." And I had so many compliments for this bag, more compliments than I'd ever had from a handbag before. And I tend to get a handbag and then just use it and use it and use it until I'm fed up with it 2 years later. And then I get another one. So, there's some salt in the pocket. So a couple of days ago, I found this in the top of a wardrobe, and I think I might have used it once since I came to this apartment 3 years ago. I still really like it, but it's quite scruffy now, and I'm never going to get it out realistically and use it, although the more I'm holding on to it, the more I'm thinking. So a couple of days ago, no, I'm going to be tough. I decided it was time for it to go, and it's not being included in today's count because it was included a couple of days ago. But it's that thing where you have that emotional connection to things, and it makes it really hard to let go of them. And I was talking to my mum yesterday and asked her how her decluttering challenge was going, and she said, "Oh, I gave up on day 4. I opened my sock drawer, and I got rid of 1 pair of socks on the first day," and she said, and 2 on the second, and then by the 4th day I'd got rid of 7 pairs of socks, and I didn't really have anything after that. So I just thought the mistake you made was opening a drawer and taking 1 or 2 things out instead of opening a drawer like I've got this one here. Take the whole drawer out. You see this drawer is filled with, as I've been clearing things, I've been putting all the wires that I found have been going into this drawer. So by contrast, this is how Marie Kondo, the Japanese author of the Marie Kondo method, who is the inspiration behind my aiming for a more minimalist, tidy, organized lifestyle, explains in her book that rather than just opening a drawer, this is one of the drawers that's in this central island that we have here, rather than just opening it and sort of taking a few bits out and then closing it up again, you take the entire drawer. And I would like to say that this is my messy drawer, but truth be known, most of my drawers start out like this, because although I fight it, I am a very easily disorganized person. So you take the whole drawer and then you start to sort things, and then you decide on an individual thing by thing basis of what you've got there, what you actually need. And that's when you then come to the realization that some of those things you just don't need them at all. And as I've been tidying, I've been shoving into this drawer all the cables that I came across, because I just am patently aware that I have more cables than 2 people could ever possibly need, and some of them I don't even recognize. I don't even know what cable that's for. But so I'm going to go through this little lot, and then I will find some more things to go into tomorrow's decluttering pile, and some things will go back into their rightful homes and places. And next time I open that drawer, it will be a thing of zen and beauty, because it will only have a few things in it, and what's in there will be needed, instead of this. And on this side, this is the drawer that comes from that side of the island. Over here, I'm not even going to show you this one. Over here, this one's even worse. This one's full of, I think, supplements and things that I use when I'm making yogurts. So we have Bacillus coagulans there, but not just one, but 2 pots of them, because I've obviously bought another pot at some point because I couldn't find the first pot. So that's another whole decluttering day right there. So day 23. We have this. This was my old oven cloth, which I used to use at the fireplace to handle the hot fireplace parts, but it's really scruffy. And the other day when I was clearing out stuff in the basement, I found some really fantastic big, like, suede gauntlets that I don't know what they were for. Maybe for a stove we had in the past. Anyway, they've now taken the place of this scruffy old thing. So I'm going to use this one to light the fire tonight. So that's gone. This is one of those deodorants, non-chemical deodorants with the reusable cartridges. And then we've got these bits and pieces here. I've got some products which I don't or will no longer use, and then more books. I went through the bookshelf again and again with the later month of. In the later month, it's become easier to be more ruthless about things. So I've got a bunch of books there, and this is our air fryer. Closer, it still works perfectly well. I think we bought it before the lockdown. I'd never heard of an air fryer, and my younger daughter and her boyfriend told me about what an air fryer was and how it made your food really crispy and it cooked things in super fast time, and you know, get the biggest one you've got space for, because the small ones are a waste of time. So it's got a big drawer. All of that's great. And we'd used it for, well, until about last year sometime, when I started to understand about the linings in these things. And they're lined with Teflon, which of course is the stuff which, when it starts to peel, and potentially before that even, it gives off these microparticles. And this one is really, you probably can't see it, but this one is really starting to peel. Oh, look, see underneath, isn't meant to look like that. So underneath where it gets really hot, the Teflon's all sort of blistered away. And that means that every time you cook with it, those tiny particles of Teflon, forever chemical, are going into your body. And those are endocrine disruptors, which I've talked about before. Let's just pop that back in. They get into your body and they mess up the delicate balance of hormones that we have in our body. And our hormonal balance is absolutely essential for our overall health. You have your thyroid hormones in your thyroid and your neck. You have your sex hormones. You have your growth hormones. You have all these different messengers that all communicate with each other through the body. And when things like flakes of plastic or Teflon or microplastics from plastic bottles, or these, as they're known as, forever chemicals, get into your body, they mess up the hormonal balance. So it's no longer in this beautiful state of homeostasis where everything is balanced and the body's keeping everything as it should be. And it disrupts your health, and you probably won't even notice that for several years. You go along, you do your things, you think, well, I've always used Teflon pans and they're always a bit scratched, because you know when someone uses something metal in them and then there's a scratch. And sometimes I look at, you know, I'm in people's houses and I just think they've got pans that look way worse than that, and they've not even given it a thought, because nobody's ever explained it. That if you continue to ingest those nasty little pieces of chemical, over the years they build up. Your wonderful, amazing body does its absolute best to store them away so that they don't damage you, so that they can't kill you. But gradually over time, there's build up. And of course, with that comes poor health, or health issues, chronic issues, which arise and we don't know why we've got them. And then they get worse. And then you go to the doctor, who, I mean, he's not going to know. How can he possibly look inside your body and see all the things that you've ingested and unwittingly over the years, and all the things that, in addition to perhaps the the less than optimal foods you've been eating, or the sugars or the seed oils which have gone rancid and toxic, become toxic to the body. It's just this storm, this perfect storm, which brews and brews and brews until one day you get sick and something goes badly wrong. You get a lump, or you get a condition, or you have an autoimmune disease raises its ugly head, and you don't know why you've got it. Because why would you? Why would you possibly link those pans that you've been using since you were a student in college, and now your air fryer's got flaky bits coming off it? How would you possibly link that unless you'd studied it, which is actually what I've done over the years? You don't even realize. And then you get people saying things like, well, it can't be that. I've always done that. Yeah, that is the point. You've always done it, and you always do it. And then things build up, and the situation gets worse and worse until one day it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And it won't be the last flake on your Teflon coated air fryer, and it won't be the microplastics in the plastic bottle that you've reused 15 times already. It'll just be a combination of all of those things, and it's a slippery slope. And then we get sick, and then we can't explain it, and then we go to the doctor, and the doctor says, so you've got this symptom. It's a skin problem, or it's a problem with your heart, or you've got digestive issues. Take this, and that will over and perhaps make those symptoms go away. Symptoms go away. They've been masked. You've just put some medication over them. Bingo, you're not sick anymore, except you are still sick. You've just buried it a bit deeper. So this is what holistic health is all about. This is why it is the only way to look at the body is as a whole, and everything has to be in balance for you to maintain optimum health. And it's all the things. It's not just it's never just one thing. Right, back to my decluttering. So quick count up. I've counted it already, and I've got 23 things there. I've already got a small pile over there of things to make my 24 things tomorrow. Well, and we're into the last week of the month. So if you've managed to keep up, or if you've only just started and you're on one of your early days, keep going. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and share this with somebody that you know who needs to do a really jolly good declutter, become more minimalist, clear their spaces up, and be less wasteful, reuse things, or gift things that you don't need, or don't foist them onto somebody else, as I covered off in the last video. You can gift things to people if they want them. Otherwise, give them to the charity shop, or put them in the bin. And your life will become more zen as a result. And it's all about stress, isn't it? Stress is one of the big killers. And if you're stressed because you've got too much stuff everywhere, and whenever you go to look for something, you can't find it, or you're using things which are suboptimal. I will talk about alternatives to this in another video, but it is possible to buy a glass or a ceramic lined air fryer, which I would be interested in. But meanwhile, I've gone back to using my oven, and it works perfectly well, and it doesn't have peeling chemicals coming off it. So that's all for the good. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.